Hey fabulous moms, do you want to find out 10 tips that can possibly help you to get rich and achieve financial freedom? Stay tuned. Well, hello fabulous. If this is your first time to my channel, welcome. If you are returning, welcome back to paradise. On my channel, I share things from marriage and money, motherhood and money and everything else in between as I talk about things from the womb to the tomb. And so I'm so glad that you're here. And as a fellow mom myself, do you know that more than 70% of moms feel stressed out about money and feel that they will never achieve financial freedom? Well, I want to change that narrative, and I want to change your perspective as well. Being a mom of 3 divas and homeschooling as well, I know motherhood can be challenging, especially when you're trying to navigate so many facets of this motherhood and wanting to do it right? Listen, being a mom is a great job. It really, and yes, it is a job. But when you're having to deal with so many other things, sometimes you missed out on being a mother because you're stressed out as it relates to finances. So I want to talk about some 10 things that you can do, right? And just to start opening up the conversation. And I want you to comment below money tips if you are ready for them. Because listen, if you've never heard my story, there are several challenges that I experienced as it relates to money and how money affected dealing with foreclosure, bankruptcy, being sued, having to start a family, and the challenge of expense of that challenges with infertility. And then on top of that, losing a loved one. And all those things are expenses that needed to be used or lost in the process. And so I just want to encourage you as it relates to different challenges that you may experience as it relates to money, that listen, at the end of the day, it's really not how much you make, it's how much you keep, right? And to know what to do with what you keep. So let's go ahead and get into these 10 tips. Are you ready? Let's go. So first thing, number 1 is master your budget. You have to know what's going in and coming out. Why is that? Even if you say, well, Teacher Melanie, I know one thing, I don't have enough. And I understand that. But you have to start at where you are, because then when more comes, and I'm speaking it in existence for you, you believe it, that when more comes, you will know what to do with the more. Oftentimes, you've ever heard of somebody who's win the lotto and they've gotten this money and they end up losing it to the point where they're even worse off than when they were before, because they did not get the proper taught or the proper lesson on what to do when money comes, right? How to pay yourself first, how to have money working for you, right? Paying yourself first is making sure that you're saving and investing as well, and having the ability to know what to do with your money for your children, because you saw my previous video where I talk about, our children can break our budget. It's important. So mastering your budget, know what's going in, know what's coming out, and it's going to really help propel you to the next level. All right. Number 2 is cut unnecessary expenses. And listen, if you're like me and you want your children to be involved and exposed to different things so they can just be well-rounded human beings, sometimes we can put ourselves in some expenses that we did not necessarily need to, or we didn't get enough information to find out what resources that can actually help us to do those things for our children. In our communities, and in yours too, I'm sure there might be different programs that can help facilitate those things that you want your children to do, or even yourself, and you're not having to spend an arm and a leg, right? Your local library has a lot of resources. Different community centers as well has a lot of resources. So you really want to find out those things that's in your community that are not required, where you have to have a certain income level that you can utilize, and that can help with cutting any unnecessary expenses. Okay, so you have to seek, you find, you knock, the door will be open unto you. Okay, let's get into number 3. Start a home-based business. I talk about that all the time, because let me tell you something. Starting a home-based business really allows you to utilize what you already have in your home, even if you are renting, right? And that you can take those same expenses that you're already utilizing and cut down those things, or be able to write them off because you have a home-based business. But it has to be a home-based business. So having the ability to run a business from home, even if you have a 9 to 5, doing a few hours every day or every other day, you create your schedule that's going to work for you and your family. Make it happen. But you definitely want to utilize that, because we consume with what you have control. Those things, all that's happening in the government, you have no control over, but you do have control over what you can do right now where you are, taking your skill sets, your experiences, something that you're interested in, and start a business. All right, so start a home-based business, and I'll talk a little bit more about that as it relates to just really propelling yourself, okay, and your skill sets. Number 4, invest in yourself. Now I know you're probably like, invest in myself. Okay, can I give myself dividends? Yes, you can. Because when you can invest in yourself, and that is in, whether that's different coaching programs, I'd love to connect with you, coaching programs, learning a new skill sets, whatever that you can utilize and find that's going to help you to grow. Because if you're not growing, you're dying. But when you put yourself in the position where you really pour into yourself, get yourself together spiritually, physically, emotionally, financially, do you know what ends up happening? Is that your cup becomes full. And now you're able to pour into your children. You're able to pour into your spouse if you're married. You're able to pour into your business and not get to the point where you feel like you are on fumes, right? Because then you don't become better. You become bitter, and we definitely do not want that. Number five is build a multiple, listen to this, a multiple stream income business. Now, I want you to know this, that you can actually have one business, one idea, and that one idea can be multiple streams. So you're not all over the place. And this is really, really important, because as a mom, I'm sure you've experienced that, where we're all over the place, we're doing so many things, we get overwhelmed, and we're like, oh my gosh, I can't go any further because of doing so many things. But when you put yourself in the position of having a multiple stream income business with one idea, it will catapult you, because you're focused on that thing and you're really becoming the key person in knowing that aspect of your business, the ins and the outs, and really being an expert in that field, right? Now, if that's something that you're interested in the comment, I want you to put multiple. Why? Because I'm having some webinars that's coming up as it relates to how to have a home-based business and how to have a multiple stream home-based business. But I always want to know if that's something that is interest of you. And I can tell you right now that once you realize how you can have a business that can yield you multiple stream just by one business idea, girlfriend, you're gonna be like, why hasn't it been taking me so long to do it? Why? All right, so let's get into number 6 is start investing early. Now, if you're of the distinguished age, right, of myself, like 50, and you're like, but it's too late. It's never too late, right? Because you can start investing not just for yourself, right, but also your children. So you're preparing your children, because that's going to help you to keep more of your money in your pocket, because you started to invest in their future early, and in the process you're also investing in opportunities as well, that you can be able to catch up if you need to catch up, but at least start with where you are. I mean, I offer different programs that with at least a minimum of $25 that you can start with, starting, right, and build yourself up. But at the end of the day, it's about starting. But invest. Money is a tool, and if money is not working, you are not utilizing the tool properly. So it's important to start investing, and don't get to the point where we'll have to wait till things are perfect, because there's no perfect time. And don't allow anyone who is not where you are, that you desire to be, come in your ear and say, no, girl, put your money under the mattress, let your money stay in the bank, it's safer. No, it is not, because your money is not keeping up with inflation. And by the way, can we just talk about eggs? Okay, inflation is real. I remember when you can get a dozen eggs for 99 cents. Now that is no longer, because inflation is real. But if you're just keeping your money in the bank, in your purse, then you're not able to keep up with inflation, even if the market is going up or down, which is okay, because at the end of the day, money is a mathematical formula. It's not an emotional, because when you be making it emotional, you miss out on a lot of opportunities, because scared money makes no money, by the way. Just saying. All right, my fellas peeps. So let's continue in this dialogue. Number 7 is teach your children about money. Now, some of you may say, well, teaching money, I've never got taught financial literacy. So and how I'm looking right now, I can't teach my children about financial literacy. Listen, if you are looking for an opportunity to have ways or to teach your children about money, I'm offering a class, right? And I want you to comment below, teach money, right? If you're interested in that, because so you'll know, I do homeschool my children. I do have a micro school, and one of the things that we utilize in our curriculum is financial literacy, because I realized that when I used to be a classroom teacher and a district administrator, I realized even for myself that we were never taught financial literacy. We were just caught, right? Got caught working, grinding, and paying bills. And when you get ready to go off to college, if there's a desire for your children, and they go on the campuses, and those credit cards companies are there like vultures, ready to plug into them and say, oh, we got something free if you do this, and it's no big deal. And it is a big deal, but if they don't understand how to utilize that properly, what ends up happening. So starting early in teaching your children as best you can, or even your grandchildren for that matter, about money is going to really catapult them to a level of financial freedom, which, guess what, remember now what's going to happen, you're going to become also financial freedom, because they're not in your pocket, because they understand and respect that money is a tool. So teaching your children financial literacy, and there's so many different books out there, and I'm going to leave a few of those books that I suggest that you can utilize to help you to teach your children about money. Okay, so make sure you check the links below on those different financial literacy books as it relates to teaching your children about money. Okay, because listen, the money game is real, but if you don't know how to play the money game right, you end up losing. As we move to number 8 and feeling great, use your mom skills to make money. Now I want you to ask yourself, I talked about having a home-based business, and you're like, but I don't know what to do with my business. I don't even know where. I'm going to offer a couple of them. What is that thing that you like to do that it comes easy? Or what is that thing that you desire that you want to do that you can learn, right, and to make money? So one of the things I always like to offer is that being in the financial industry, I'm always expanding, because I realize in this industry it's stale and male. And we have a skill set about us as women that we have the ability to really nurture people, because we make things very simple. Hey, I love a man. But needless to say, we offer something a little different, a different flair. So if that is you and you are interested in having a business where you can learn the money game, and in the process you help somebody else to become financially independent, and you also, it becomes a win-win situation. But maybe you say, well, teaching me that might not be for me, and I respect that. But I want you to really think about your skill set and what you have, and how you can take that skill set that you have, or that hobby, and make it into an income generating opportunity. You can do that, but you have to be able to start and not be scared, okay? Or get some coaching and mentoring as well, and now to put yourself in this box in the process. All right, so let's keep moving on to number 9. Number 9 is eliminate debt fast. Glory be to God. Let me tell you something, friend, sis, fabulous queen. Listen, debt can really paralyze you, because the word of God says that the borrower is servant to the lender. That means you're just working to pay bills. Who wants to live that life? You shouldn't want to live that life, right? You want to live financially free. So eliminating debt as quickly as possible is going to help you to do that. Hence why making another stream of income, utilizing your skill set, all the things that I talked about previously can put towards that debt. Now, let me say something when it comes to that. As a financial life coach, I always tell my clients, it's like, be focused when it comes to paying off debt. Don't say you're going to pay a little bit of here in this one, a little bit on this one, a little bit on this one. It doesn't work, and it takes longer. But when you're focused on one bill that you're going to pay off, you're going to pay it off quickly by using debt stacking. And debt stacking allows you to start from your smallest bill, pour everything else into it. Everything else, you're just paying your regular minimum, right? And then once that is done, you go to the next one, and so forth. And let me tell you, and I'm talking about experience. Hello, sister. Okay? It does happen fast, especially when you put, again, a plan together. Because listen, God is a God of order, and He honors His children when their children do things, when we as children of God do things in decency and in order. And so when we do that, and we're focused on eliminating debt and really put a plan together and work that plan, let me tell you, it is priceless. So if that's something that you are interested, comment below plan, and you can also connect with me, as well as I do offer a complimentary 15 minutes, and I'll go a little further than that, but I want to just hone on this. You can eliminate debt no matter where you are. Foreclosure, bankruptcy suit, I've had all of that. You have things in collection, all that. You can come back from those things. You really can, but you have to start with looking at it and not be fearful to address it. Okay, it can happen. Which leads me now to number 10, is plan for the future. You know, we oftentimes, unfortunately, we spend more time planning for birthdays, weddings, than we plan for the rest of our life, which is our financial. Because no matter the different stage of life, the Bible says money answers all things. And so we need money. But if you're not planning for those unexpected things, if you're not planning for your children, for your retirement, right? If you're not planning, if you desire to get a house, if you don't have, if you're not putting a plan in place, you know that saying, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And it is so true. And something that I realized, that when I put a plan together, and my husband and myself, we worked the plan, we were able to collapse time so quickly. So you might say, well, I'm not married. Listen, you plan, right? And you sit down and with your children have a conversation. And let me tell you something about children, that children have a resilience in them that they want to help support and feel included. And they do offer some really great encouragement in the process, because when they see what you're doing, they're going to take it to the next level for their family as well, because they're going to remember how, you know, mom sat us down and talked to us, or dad, and you know, we didn't have much, or whatever the case, but they taught us so many valuable skills. They're going to take it to the next level. So I just want to encourage you to plan for the future. Where there is life, there is hope, and the future is not dead for you. As I said, no matter where you are, it's not dead, because where there is life, there is hope, and you can regroup from any loss you've experienced, whether it's been emotional, whether it's been financial, whether it's been a loss of a loved one. You can come back, and it is a process. It's not something that happens overnight, but if you stay diligent, all right, you can get up, you can regroup, you can reset, and you can rebound and get to that life of resilience in the process. So I hope the information was valuable to you. I'm glad that you stayed all the way to the end. Thank you so much for being so kind. And so what I want you to do is check out my links below, right, of different things that I shared about that can help you to get to the next level in your finances, for yourself and your children, being the amazing mom that you are, and just becoming a better version of yourself. All right, my fabulous peeps. So like I always say, remember to pray, plan, and believe, because God is still in the business of doing miracles. Make it a great day. Bye, fabulous.